Okay, then. So, Anne and Margaret, welcome.
Hello.
This seems
Hello again.
this seems to be the best we're going to manage today. So we will see how we will go. I will make sure that there is a close-up photograph of everything in the video just to help out. So I will mute us all three and hand over to Mam.
I'm going to start by painting isolated parts of the face rather than do a whole face to begin with. This is the first one I'm going to look at, which I found is Victoria Beckham, apparently. And yes, that's what it says. I wouldn't know. I found it in the Radio Times. Now, I'm going to start with the mouth. We think we know what a mouse looks like, especially we ladies who put lipstick on every day. We feel it's got a shape and an edge, but if you actually look at a mouse, it hasn't. It is shaped by the muscles and the rise and fall of the face. So to make it easier, we're going to start by doing it upside down, like that. I'm going to pin it over here. There. And I'm just looking at the mouth. Now, can you see the mouse, Rachel? There, because it's upside down. What you can see is a very strong dark line that has a particular rhythm and shape. And it's quite a long line. So I'm going to start with, I'm working with charcoal. I'll have a little one. Oh, you never find a little one when you want it to. Right. So, oh dear, I would much prefer it the other way around, but never mind. Is that difficult? Right, okay. So I'm going to start about here. The line has a slight curve like that, and then it curves like that, then it comes back like that, and ends about there. So and it's quite a dark line. It actually represents the line between the two lips where they join together. Now, the top lip is very thin and in shadow, because if you think about it, it's going from the, let's get it right, it's going from the edge of the lip in to the mouth. So it's in shadow. So I'm just going to work lightly to create that shape. And it does that. Scarcely any difference to the line itself. It's not exactly accurate, that, but it'll have to do. Now, there is a shadow round the bottom lip. And it comes about here. And it's not a strong shadow, but it's a shadow. It comes about here. And again, it has a shape. And then, do that? Does it really do that? It really does that. Okay. And then we do have a highlight catching that top lip. It catches this top lip here. And it comes around here. But it doesn't actually go to the other here too. the line of the join of the two lips. See, the paper is so light, actually, it makes it difficult to see. Just get these lines. Right. I have no idea if this is going to work, so it's going to be interesting. Yes, that. Let's go to there. Now, there is also a little shadow here. Please, God, let this not be a disaster. It's not bad. It's not brilliant, but it's not bad, partly because I'm working with charcoal and I should have done it bigger. All right, learned that lesson. Do the next one bigger. If you've got the idea of what you're trying to do, if you were doing that, you would probably have drawn the shape of the lip and made it much more definite. So we'll try again. When I'm working in oils or pastels or acrylics, I always start with a dark color because the dark color gives you the bones of the thing, gives you shape, highlights, bring it to life. Right, we'll try another one, only this time I'll make it bigger. Supposing we have this fella. I picked him out because my photograph of my mum that I'm going to do, she's got her mouth open and all her teeth are showing. So it's a good idea to look at teeth, isn't it? We'll try again. Turn him upside down. And I'll make it a lot bigger this time. Learn from your mistakes. Right, so we've got here a shape coming along here, and then there's another shape there, and then this part of his teeth is as long again as that bit there. So it comes to about here. And it is defined by a pattern, but we'll come to that in a minute. And we've got at this end, we've got a little dark triangle. And then it gets, because he gets involved with his beard and his mustache and all kinds of other things. So we've got a much bigger shape, which goes along here. And then we've got that sort of shape. This here is slightly indented where his teeth are. I'm not going to count his teeth, that's silly. But you do want them in the right place. And it's quite a dark line. Yeah, have the courage to do it, girl. Make this a bit bigger. Right. There is a slight, right, coming from there. Okay, now, in his case, because this is colored, so I'm having to transfer the black and white. That was colored, but it was so barely colored that it didn't really matter. His lips are actually quite pink around the outside, and they're very pale pink where they catch the light, where they're stretched over his teeth. So I need to put in, where is it? It comes from here. There's a bit of a shadow down there. And the line comes around here. Quite a bit of shadow here. And then that's the lip edge. Here, he's got this little bit of, well, I think it's meant to be a look, but it looks unshaven to me. And that feeds in also to the shape of his mouth. Right, now if I take the chalk and put in, well, you've got two bits to put in. We've got the teeth, which I'm actually not going to put in, because although they're very light, if you do teeth white, the rest of the picture doesn't exist for some reason. So we'll just do his top lip. And it's not showing up on this paper, which is a pity, but there we are. And it's quite a strong shape of light where it's stretched over his. Now, if I take a bit of the charcoal and mix it in with that, put it there, mix it in, smudge it with the charcoal, see if we get the light better. I should have had the pink paper and then it would have been more. The teeth do have separation, but it's so slight that you don't want it to be too definite. It just, that's the corner of the mouth there. Trying to get the two incisors at the front in the. And there's a very, very slight line just there. And that's very dark. That little bit is actually inside the mouth because you've got the thing. So. Right, and that top lip barely shows. It's so tight against the teeth that it barely shows. See if that's any better. Did I tell you I'm learning at the same time as you? There you are. That's better. Gives you a better impression of what you can do because it's bigger. The teeth are there, but they're not shrieking at you. The light is catching the top of the lip, right, what makes the mouth. So the mouth is not a bow shape. It's a collection of planes. This is two-dimensional, so it makes it easier to do this two-dimensional. If you do an actual face, the face is three-dimensional, and you're turning it into two. So what you put on here is a collection of shapes and colors on a flat surface. And by some kind of alchemy, they turn into a face, or maybe not. If I turn him the right way up, it just gives you some idea, right? So that's a mouse. Now let's look at the eyes. I'll turn it that way up again. Now, what I have noticed about people when they're doing eyes, they might get the shape of the eye right, but usually they make it far too big. People put eyes in like that. So you've got the pupil here. And even if they put the eyebrows in, it doesn't work, right? So again, if you turn them upside down, so you can only see what is there. Can we see down here, Rachel? Right. So we've got, supposing we just do one. We've got this shape here, and that is quite strongly marked. That's the eyebrow. But the eyebrow goes into a dark shape here as well. We've got the eyebrow here. If I get the right shape of eyebrow, that helps. And that line goes into a line here. I can get it right. Which curves down. I think again, I haven't done it big enough, but there we are. And here, we've got a dark shape, which is the pupil. And that pupil and iris isn't round. It's cut off at the top by the upper eyelid. And this comes down a bit more here. And then it goes off down the nose there. There is some hairlines there. And there is a slight line there. And an even slighter shadow there, which goes off into these spidery lines. Oh. Right? So it just gives you the idea, because you analyze the eye with care. You didn't say, it's an eye, so I'll do it this way. Because it's upside down, you're looking at shapes. And it just becomes better, more. I'm not suggesting you do the whole portrait upside down. What I'm suggesting you is you do it like that and then say, right, supposing I try and do the other eye right way up. So I've got to leave enough space here. Having analyzed the one, about there, this is coming here. And it's not the same as this eye, it's different. People's eyes aren't the same. A bit of a rise there. Right, and then above that is eyebrows. I'm trying to replicate the actions that I got there, here. I can, and this curves round, so it's about like that. Now this eye line doesn't join the shadow. It's slightly below. So, but it does follow it to some degree. It's thinner, I think, too. Right. Yeah. And it widened the light widens here a little bit. And that is actually quite dark there. And we've got the pupil there. This comes down here, pointed. Having had that experience, I'm analyzing the eye in a different way. This comes down here. There are whiskery shapes out there, but this has a shadow just about there. And this bit hasn't got a line on it at all. Don't put it in. Right? So that, but there is, if I can do it, if it'll show up, there is a highlight on that bottom lid. Yeah. Just there, which defines the eye. And it's also a bit on that one. Right. See, because that eye had been carefully analyzed by doing it upside down, when I came back to doing this one, I had a bit better idea how to tackle it, right? And the same applies to the nose. So what I'm trying to say is if we do this sort of practice today, when we come next week, we'll be able to do our monochrome face, you know, the right way up. Because we've analyzed the eyes and nose and mouth of our person, when we come to do it the right way up, we won't make the mistakes we would have made had we not had the practice. Practice is good for you. Right. What we're going to do was, I said the nose, didn't I? Right. Let's turn the nose upside down. Right. Now, I shouldn't have done that eye because I haven't got this. Right. Okay. We'll do the nose. Now look at the nose. There is a slight shadow down either side of the nose. There. I've deliberately done them out of sequence, so I'm not building a face. I'm looking, right? So this shadow comes practically straight down, and it's only near the bottom. It sort of shears off a bit. And then here, there's a sort of slightly bulbous bit. And there's quite a knob of shadow there. And then it moves down here. There's a and it comes around here. This is a good one to do because his nose is throwing a really good, strong shadow. Little line up there. Goes off. There's a little line, and again, a slight shadow down here, which is wider at the bottom than it is at the top. When you come to be doing this, I got that wrong. Come around here. These shadows are difficult to see actually, because we're so used to seeing them, you don't see them. That's what I'm trying to say. I've twisted it a bit. And then you get the highlight. You get the highlight down the nose. Very often fills the brow too. See what happens. It's a nose. Looks like it's going to be gorilla, doesn't it? Right. Well, so what you're trying to do is do it upside down first, so you're analyzing what is there. Turn it up right way up and try to do it again, but this time the right way up. Not copying what you've done, but trying to reanalyze it from the picture, right? And then have a go at the eyes, and finally make a gorilla.